Peter Yarrow was born in Manhattan on May 31, 1938, the son of Vera Weisbrod, née Vera Bertikov, and Bernard Yarrow. His parents were educated Ukrainian Jewish immigrants, whose families had settled in Providence, Rhode Island. Bernard Yarrow, 1899–1973, attended the Jagiellonian University, Krakow, and the Odessa University, Odessa, before emigrating to the United States in 1922, at age 23. He anglicized his surname from Yaroshevitz to Yarrow, obtained a Bachelor of Science degree in 1925 from Columbia University, where he joined Phi Sigma Delta fraternity, and graduated from Columbia Law School in 1928. He then maintained a private law practice in New York City until 1938, when he was appointed an assistant district attorney under the then district attorney, Thomas E. Dewey. In 1944, he was recruited into the Office of Strategic Services, where he served with distinction. After the war, Bernard joined Sullivan and Cromwell, the Dulles brothers law firm. Yarrow's mother, Vera, 1904–1991, who had come to America at age 3, became a speech and drama teacher at New York's Julia Richman Education Complex for Girls. She and Bernard divorced in 1943, when their son Peter was 5, and Vera subsequently married Harold Weisbrod, the executive director of the Central Synagogue in Manhattan. Bernard married his wartime London OSS partner Sylvia Tim and converted to Protestantism. Peter spent the summers of 1951 and 1952 at Interlochens Music Camp. He graduated second in his class among male students from New York's High School of Music and Art, where he had studied painting and received a physics prize. He was accepted at Cornell University, where he began as a physics major but soon switched to psychology, graduating with a Bachelor of Arts in 1959. Among his Cornell classmates were Lenny Lipton, Thomas Pynchon, Richard Farina, Jack Sarfati, Judith Belmore, C. Michael Curtis and David Schätzlein. Peter, Paul and Mary appeared on stage with the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. at his historic March on Washington, where their performance of Blowin' in the Wind established it as a civil rights anthem. Their version also spent weeks on Billboard's Easy Listening chart. By 1964, the 26-year-old Yarrow had joined the board of the Newport Folk Festival, where he had performed as an unknown just 4 years earlier. Yarrow's songwriting helped to create some of Peter, Paul and Mary's best-known songs, including Puff, The Magic Dragon, Day is Done, Light One Candle, and The Great Mandala. As a member of the trio, he earned a 1996 Emmy nomination for the Great Performances special Lifelines Live, a highly acclaimed celebration of folk music, with their musical mentors, contemporaries, and a new generation of singer-songwriters. Yarrow was instrumental in founding the New Folks concert series at both the Newport Folk Festival and the Kerrville Folk Festival. His work at Kerrville has been called his most important achievement in this arena. Yarrow co-wrote and produced Torn Between Two Lovers, a #1 hit for Mary McGregor. He also produced 3 CBS TV specials based on Puff, The Magic Dragon, which earned an Emmy nomination for him. In 1978, Yarrow organized Survival Sunday, an anti-nuclear benefit, and after a period of separation, he was once again joined by Stuckey and Travers. Yarrow and his daughter, Bethany Yarrow, often performed together. Together with cellist Rufus Cappadocia, they formed the trio Peter, Bethany, and Rufus. They released the CD Puff and Other Family Classics. In 2008, the musical special Peter, Bethany and Rufus, Spirit of Woodstock, featuring a live performance of the band, aired on public television. Yarrow portrayed leftist intellectual Ira Mandelstam in the 2015 film While We're Young. The Peter, Paul and Mary musician died of bladder cancer, with which he was diagnosed in 2021. Yarrow, 86, died at his home in New York City on Tuesday, January 7. The Grammy-winning folk singer-songwriter and activist had been battling cancer for some time. His son Christopher and daughter Bethany wrote in a statement shared in December, in which they asked fans and friends to leave living tributes for Yarrow. He has kept his doctors in awe at his resilience as he has continued to perform and live life in his own generous and cause-driven way. It has been a long road and he has been a strong dragon, but right now he is very weak and, at 86, his dragon days are numbered, they wrote. Yarrow cited Judaism as one of the roots of his liberal views. While campaigning for 1968 presidential candidate Eugene McCarthy, Yarrow met McCarthy's niece, Mary Beth McCarthy, in Wisconsin. He was 31, she was 20. They were married in October 1969 in Wilmar, Minnesota. Paul Stuckey wrote wedding song, There Is Love, as his gift for their wedding and first performed it at St. Mary's Church in Wilmar. They had 2 children, son Christopher and daughter Bethany, but later divorced. At the time of Yarrow's death, it was revealed that he and Mary Beth remarried in 2022 and remained married until his death in 2025. In December 2000, Yarrow's Larrivee acoustic guitar was stolen on an airplane flight. In early 2005, fans spotted the guitar on eBay. The FBI recovered it in Sunny Isles Beach, Florida, and returned it to Yarrow. He did not press charges, as the person from whom it was recovered was not the person who had stolen it. Yarrow performed the world premiere of the colonoscopy song on the CBS early morning program The Early Show on March 9, 2010. Yarrow acknowledged being an alcoholic and sought treatment for the disease. He considered himself in recovery. A longtime resident of New York City, Yarrow had also owned a vacation home in Telluride, Colorado. Yarrow's son, Christopher, is a visual artist who in the late 2000s owned an emporium in Portland, Oregon, named The Monkey and the Rat. In 1970, Yarrow was convicted and served 3 months in prison for taking improper liberties with 14-year-old Barbara Winter. In August 1969, she had gone with her 17-year-old sister to Yarrow's hotel room in Washington, D.C. seeking an autograph. Winter stated that Yarrow answered the door naked and made her masturbate him until he ejaculated. Yarrow served 3 months of a 1 to 3 year prison sentence. He apologized for the incident, saying that it was an era of real indiscretion and mistakes by categorically male performers. I was one of them. I got nailed. I was wrong. I'm sorry for it. Yarrow was granted a presidential pardon by Jimmy Carter on January 19, 1981, the day before Carter's presidency ended. For decades, Yarrow avoided mention of the assault, but by the early 2000s, it became a campaign issue for politicians he supported. In 2004, U.S. Representative Martin Frost of Texas, a Democrat, canceled a fundraising appearance with Yarrow after his opponent ran a radio advertisement about Yarrow's offense. In 2013, Republican politicians in New York called on Democratic congressional candidate Martha Robertson to cancel a scheduled fundraiser with Yarrow. In 2019, he was disinvited from a folk music festival when the organizers were informed of his conviction. In May 2021, The Washington Post wrote that Yarrow's pardon by Carter, perhaps the only one in U.S. history wiping away a conviction for a sexual offense against a child, escaped scrutiny when it happened. It was granted just hours before the American hostages in Iran were freed, which captured headlines for weeks. The same article details other allegations of sexual assault of minors made against Yarrow.